All right, we're back with another record run video.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
This guy, right? No, it's my fault. I forgot my camera stuff last week, and that's yeah. But we're here.
We're here. Yeah, we're doing some pretty amazing stuff. Okay. Let's see. About half and half my finds. I'm going to continue with that Richard Morton Jack theme. I know everybody's just on edge there, but I did figure I've kind of been hitting that really hard lately. Yeah. Plus, I had a pretty amazing dig/score day within the last week or so. Not week or so, month or so.
Yeah.
And so, in that case, I just feel like I really got to show some of that stuff. And some of it is crossover to the Richard Morton Jack Psychedelia book. Okay, so I know I've talked a bunch before about not a hometown haunt, but my wife's hometown haunt.
Yeah.
Again, I've mentioned it before. Exclusive Company is a regional chain in Wisconsin, but the one I visit in Janesville had a great haul the other week. It was pretty freaking amazing. So, and it was one of those things where I had bought a car earlier this day, and I was like, man, I'm really wanting to get back to the record store, and we're in traffic, and and we were in this parking lot at a Starbucks for a half hour. So I'm like, oh man, I know I'm missing something great. I'm missing something great. And I get in there, and the used section, just like 2 or 3 things like in the front of the Benz that I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. That's interesting. I haven't seen that here before. Yeah. Maybe some good stuff got dropped off. I might have to pick up 2 or 3 things. It was a mega haul, folks. Lifelong collector, purging his entire collection. They said he had about 1,300 records that they bought from him, or that he had, and they bought like 500 to 800 of them, and they were still going through them, pricing them and putting them out as I was there.
Yeah.
It was the dream, folks. So, some of these are lighter hitters, some of these are heavier hitters, but all of them are things I picked up at these first 4 or 5 are, at least. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said all. Gosh, I'm doing a terrible job at this. All right. Anyway, this is Fats.
Nice.
So the reason why I'm showing this was also just happened to be a weekend where everything you used was 35% off. Just happened to be. Yeah. Okay, so this is Fats. I did pick this up. It ended up costing me about $4. The reason I'm showing this, though, is I've run into a little bit of an interesting conundrum that maybe you can help me with. So, this album, sort of, appears in the 1001 You Have to Hear Before You Die.
Okay.
So here's what happens. I put this record on, and I'm reading the write-up, and I'm like, the record I'm listening to is not the record that's being described in this.
Interesting.
In 1957, Imperial issued This Is Fats, which is an LP and was intended to be an LP. They also, in 1957, issued This Is Fats Domino, which was a collection of his biggest singles up to that point.
Interesting.
So, This Is Fats is listed in the book. I listened to This Is Fats. It does not open with Blueberry Hill as This Is Fats Domino does.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, do I take it off?
I think you can give yourself a half tick.
Half? No, there's no halves in this life. No halves. I went ahead and I ticked it. All right?
Yeah, I don't blame you.
But here's the thing. Condition on a lot of these is just wonderful. So it wasn't just that it was a great collection, that I happened to be right there as they were putting them out, and they happened to be 35% off. It was a lot of stuff in really good condition. And of course, this is one of, like, I knew this picture from that book, and I was like, oh, for $4? Yeah. So, no brainer there.
All right, before I begin showing the stuff, I got to give a little bit of a shout out to Derek Fisher. If you guys don't know his channel, you should check it out. He has a massive site collection. He's really knowledgeable. Has a great Instagram account, and runs the Psychedelic Situation Facebook group, which is also worth joining if you're on there. He's kind of my eBay guru. Like, every once in a while he'll send me a message that just says, hey, if you don't have this album, here's a great deal on a record online. So a few of these, I gotta give special thanks to him, including this first one, which is The Racket Squad, The Corners of My Mind, or The Corners of Your Mind, rather, sorry. I believe their second album. He tipped me off to this. This was $10 shipped on eBay. Really great deal on this. They were from Pittsburgh. Really cool garage psych. I mean, the title track is probably the most well-known song off of here, and it's great. Great garage. You know, I mean, a little bit poppy in nature, but that was kind of the nature of garage rock in general. It was, you know, there was a hook and a melody, and but kind of done hard and heavy a little bit, and with some psych elements thrown in for good measure. But yeah, this was a cool kind of cheapy pickup, kind of a fun one to listen to, and again, Derek, thank you, sir.
Okay, also in that same collection up at the exclusive company,
Heck yeah.
little dirty water
In the shrink?
in the shrink wrap from the Standells. In fact, they had 3 Standells LPs. This, the follow-up, and then the one that I think it's called like the Standells in black and white.
Yeah, it's like
something.
Good Guys Don't Wear White or something.
Yeah, something like that. Insert title here. Anyway, they had all 3 of them, and they were all in really good condition, all in the shrink wrap. I was like, yeah, I've got to, I'm going to get dirty water.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the one you got to have there. It is on that just beautiful brown tower label.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be anything special to be pretty.
That's right.
That's how you got to tell the girls. That's anybody. That's the secret.
Swoon.
Yeah, right there.
This next one is in the colored photo section of the Endless Trip.
A must buy for you.
It really kind of is. It's one, you know, you're flipping through and they catch your eye first, and then you read about them. And this one was described as being kind of acid rock, and really been kind of digging that deeper, trippier kind of sound and psych lately. And this definitely fits the bill. This is Joe Beck, Nature Boy.
Ric Flair?
What?
Ric Flair?
Ric Flair? Woo!
Nature Boy! Ric Flair!
Nature Boy! I did not watch wrestling.
Me neither.
That's why I called him Rich.
I like it though. But yeah, this is great, kind of bluesy acid rock. Some great guitar playing. Most tracks, especially side 2, every track on side 2 is longer than 5 minutes. And it's pretty much the same on side 1, a few like 3.5 minute tracks, but for the most part, there's some great guitar playing on here, some deeper kind of stuff. The cover of Nature Boy, you know, Gandalf did it, and probably did it best, but I can't find a copy of that I can afford, so for the time being, this will be my go-to cover version of that song.
Oh, if I ever get it, I'm just bringing it in and be like, hey, can you drop the needle on this?
I imagine that anytime I'm around you, you'll just have an excuse to pull it out. The record.
Also, UK Pretty Things on Fontana.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
That's an OG, sucker.
Gosh, man, that's awesome.
Oh, this is all so good. No way I could pick out standout tracks on this. It's all just needle drop to label, straight up British garage rock.
Yeah.
These guys were, you know, in the underground clubs and everything. They're certainly, you know, pre-psychedelic at this point,
Yeah.
but man, this is a good album. A little bit of the laminate removal down here that you see, you know, a little bit of foxing with it up here, but overall,
That's awesome.
just in fantastic condition.
Yeah.
And I will show label on that one.
Heck yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
that's
awesome.
no Blue Fontana. That's an OG, baby.
Yeah. That's sweet.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's so good.
So good. Another tip of the cap to Mr. Derek Fisher for this one. This was $19 shipped. It was high on my want list, and it rarely pops up on eBay, and the ones on Discogs are always like super priced high, like just 75 and above, when it shouldn't probably command that much. But for $19, this is a pretty cool find. This is Bittersweet with Hypnotic One. I love the cover on this album.
Oh, yeah.
It's super cool. It's on ABC Records. Really plain back cover there. But just that plain ABC kind of rainbow looking label. This is often described as garage psych. There are definitely garage elements, but it's closer to pop psych for me. But it's in that weird vein of pop psych, where there's a lot of psychedelic elements, a lot of kind of trippy things thrown in, but very much pop music. Really enjoyable listen, and if pop psych is your thing, this is a pretty good one to grab.
This one I got way early in this year. Donovan from A Flower to a Garden. So this is not technically in and of itself in the Richard Morton Jack book. The album contained within For Little Ones is the qualifier, I suppose, from 1967. So Donovan releases these 2 LPs at the same time roughly, but also makes this box set available that has the one that is, again, for his fan base, and then these sort of like, wow, isn't it interesting, I'm becoming a father, I'd like to record some stuff that would be appropriate for my young son and everything. So the cool thing about this box set, Mellow Yellow, you might have to help me here, but if you are looking for it, you want to make sure that when you get it, it obviously has both records and they're in good condition.
Yes.
But that it also has this sort of brown folder inside, and inside the folder, you want to make sure that you have all 12 picture inserts with lyrical excerpts from the lyrics to the For Little Ones LP. I don't know if some of them had the lyrics to the other LP, but the only ones I've seen are the ones that have the ones from For Little Ones. So in any case, you want to make sure all 12 of them are there. They're labeled right up here, so you should see the first, the second, the third, so on and so forth, all the way through the 12th. And this one has all 12 of them.
Very nice.
I won't show them all, but just a little nugget of info there if you are looking to be a completist on Donovan.
Well, Derek, hello again. This one is another one from Derek.
Man crush.
Yeah, totally. He tipped me off to an eBay deal on this one. You'd had it for a while.
Yeah, and I think you kind of caused me to re-examine it, and that's good. I do have a copy of this. I haven't shown it yet, so I'm glad you are. No, it's okay. I'm glad you're showing it. I can file it away now. So,
all right.
Good one though.
Yeah. Harumi? I don't know. I apologize to everyone. This is a cool one. The packaging is pretty extravagant.
Yeah.
Really great gatefold there, and even the cover, the front cover. Kind of do that there. Oh, beautiful, just gorgeous.
A little bit offensive on the inside.
A smidge, just a smidge. I paid $23 shipped for this, which is a good deal. Online
really
it tends
good deal,
to go for 40 to 50 bucks on average. It's like half of a great album.
Yeah.
I think you kind of feel the same about it.
I do.
Stylistically, kind of different between one LP to the next.
Yeah.
One is kind of, psych rock, pop psych a little bit, and then the next it gets, Eastern, but far Eastern.
Yeah.
And it's different, and it's in the right context. I could see it being a little bit mind expanding, if you will, but it's a little bit jarring going from one LP to the next, and you're kind of like, you kind of get into one side, and you're like, oh, we're gonna shift gears.
Yeah, I remember feeling a deep groove with like the third side, and then being like, and then side 4, like, wait.
Yeah,
what?
exactly.
Like,
Kind of ends on a low note. It doesn't carry all the way through. But no, it is an enjoyable album, and I think it's worth having for the packaging alone. I don't say that much about records.
Oh, yeah, it just looks so cool. Yeah.
There's so much going on that when it's on, and you can just kind of take your time reading the liner notes and looking at the pictures and stuff, and yeah, it's a pretty good one. So.
Keeping it going with Jack's tracks here from 1967.
Yeah.
A little bit of the Beach Boys, Smiley Smile. I gotta say, I don't really love it.
Oh man,
it's
like
good, but I don't love it. I mean,
there's
obviously,
a couple skippers,
standouts there. Of course, you've got Good Vibrations, Open Side B. Was anything that followed up Pet Sounds going to be a disappointment? Probably. Yeah. I do like Heroes and Villains, and Vegetables is fun.
Yeah.
But more than anything, this LP sounds like a collection of unfinished songs. It really kind of, other than Good Vibrations, which of course was the big single, it kind of almost seems like a demo of songs.
Yeah, and it kind of was, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, most people are aware, like, Brian Wilson was intended this to be a much more grand project, and this is kind of the result of what survived. And I think it feels like that. It's got good stuff on it, but it never feels cohesive to me. So why Richard Morton Jack chose this one, I couldn't say, but I don't question the man. He wrote the Pantheon.
That's
so.
right. This next one, I think, also from the colored photo section of the Endless Trip.
Shout out to Richard Morton Jack yet again.
Yes, indeed. This is Douglas Fir, Hard Heart Singing. It was described as, like, again, acid-tinged blues rock. And I listened to the title track and the follow-up track, Jersey Thursday, online, and I was like, oh, I have to find this album right now. This is great stuff. And found a copy for 25 bucks. Again, way less than the average on Discogs right now. It's kind of gone up in value for some reason. And I got the album, you know, those first 2 tracks, and I'm like, oh, this is great. And then it gets into like some boogie blues rock, and it was kind of like, oh, I don't know about this. But there's some good guitar work, and then it goes back to the deep, trippy acid blues kind of stuff. And then I kind of read up on the band, and apparently they were a staple of the Portland, Oregon bar scene. So when you listen to the album, it's kind of like, oh, there's their bar band blues. And here's what the band probably wanted to do more of in the studio, but the label probably, you know, like, well, you're known for this on the scene, we'll let you do a few deep cuts. And honestly, it's like, you know, 2 deep cuts and then a boogie blues cut, and then kind of back to the deep. So the ratio is nice, because there aren't a ton of the boogie blues on there, and I normally don't like that kind of thing, but they can really play, and the singer's got a pretty good voice. I really enjoyed this a lot.
Alright, this is one I've mentioned that I wanted before in a video. Last year in San Diego, I found Family's second album.
Yeah.
This is the first one, Music in a Doll's House. Little promo copy there.
That's awesome.
And I have to say that the music within is just about as creepy as that picture warrants. This is one that really is more of a suite than individual tracks, although they are banded on the LP, so themes kind of go in and out throughout the entirety of the disc, both side A and B. It's, again, not necessarily a standout track LP so much as it is a, like, this is an experience.
Yeah.
Put it on, man. Put it on. And Family got out there. They got out there.
Yeah, they did.
It's weird stuff, folks.
I believe this is also a colored photo in the Endless Trip.
I believe it is, and I do not believe I knew you had this, had acquired
Really?
this.
Oh, wow.
I'm a little
All right.
jealous.
Cool beans. This is the Glass Family Electric Band. So I got this recently for $35 shipped. This is really, really good stuff. The Glass Family, I believe they were a commune.
I think you're right about that.
Yeah, and you can definitely feel that influence on there. There's some deeper tracks. There's some kind of almost sing-along type jaunts. I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of similar to the Farm Band in that way. A few poppy tracks, but the deep stuff is really deep, including the title track. There's some great stuff on site too. The closing track, Agorn, Elements of Complex Variables, is super deep and trippy and weird. And again, the filler is also really good stuff as well. I like this one quite a bit. This is highly, highly recommended. Fun fact, this was the only album they made in the 60s, and then about 10 years later, they made a disco album.
Very cool. Second reissue of the night for me, but I do beg your forgiveness. I think you'll offer it when you see it is the first reissue of the CA Quintet's A Trip Through Hell.
Jealousy Generator.
Absolutely.
This one's huge.
Yeah. The originals of these were on the Candy Floss label out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. Originals of this LP, you're going to set yourself back about $1,200 to $1,300 average price.
Yeah.
Average price. Probably good deal zone more than anything at this point. So, one disappointment here. This press is actually very good. It's a 1983 UK press. Psycho label did it. It was the 12th release that they did.
They put out so many good records in the
They
early
really, really did. They were a great company. They did a really good job on the pressing, but where they fell short was the label. The Candy Floss label is so poppy cool,
Yeah.
and this is so drab. And so, one criticism, but I got a really good deal on this. Our buddy Greg sold this to me at one of the last St. Louis record shows, so I want to thank him as always for bringing great stuff to those shows. And to I knew what this was sort of, but he kind of guided me toward it.
Yeah.
So really appreciate that.
It's awesome. This one, I don't know how it even got on my radar. I don't know. I'm sure it was the Endless Trip. Everything goes back to the Endless Trip. But this is Bruce Palmer. The Cycle is Complete. Bruce Palmer was the bass player for Buffalo Springfield. And then he kind of quit the music scene.
Hey, what's that sound?
Oh. Everybody look. All right, we're done with that, but
I'm ashamed.
we're so sorry, but we're not. This features Rick James on backing vocals when he was Rick Matthews, I believe was his name, but it's pretty, like...
Oh, wow.
Yeah. This is deep, man. This is like...
I'm intrigued.
This is psychedelic, but jazzy. It's like if Traffic and Alice Coltrane had made a record together. No, I love this record. I've played it a ton lately. I think it's kind of an underrated little gem that not a lot of people are kind of aware of what is on this album. I think they think Buffalo Springfield is going to be kind of a country rock record, and he kind of has the, you know, kind of hippie looking headband on there, but no, this is deep and really, really good. Definitely check this one out. I don't know if I said, but I paid $29 for this, and I'm really, really happy with that.
This one Mellow Yellow picked up for me for the onlines. I believe, yeah, I've got one more online purchase as well here. I could not pass up a Haps Hash and the Colored Coat with the Human Host and the Heavy Metal Kids. I knew it was going to take me a while to spit that one out. This one's in the shrink.
Yeah, that's very nice, man.
That cover. Oh
it's
boy.
Gorgeous.
Hash, they were actually graphic design artists, and they did this album as a way to release some of their graphic design work. So, crazy stuff there. One of the first times, if not the first time, the words heavy metal were put on an LP. This was a jam session. They were true, like, hey, we're just going to invite people to the studio and see what happens, sort of things there. So, if that sort of freeform musical experience is your bag, then I highly recommend Haps Hash and the Colored Coat.
Yeah, I love this record.
This is a big one.
Yeah. All right, these are not originals. Originals are insanely expensive. I got them for $30 and $34 respectively. But they are first U.S. issues from 1976, Nick Drake's Brighter Later, and 5 Leaves Left. I was always kind of like a peripheral Nick Drake fan. Like, I liked his stuff. And then I picked up some nice used copies of reissues, modern reissues of 5 Leaves Left and Pink Moon, and I was like, man, why don't I have these? I should probably track these down. And then I looked prices up, was like, oh, that's why I don't have these, because originals are insane. And even for the most part, the US reissues are kind of pricey. But I came across 2 really good deals. Some newer sellers, which is always a little bit of a risk because you don't know how their grading is, but they usually have stuff priced a little bit lower, so you can take a chance. I'm just super happy to have these. I do have a modern reissue of Pink Moon. There was not ever a US repress until like the early 2000s of Pink Moon.
That's interesting.
You can find later UK reissues, but even those are pricey, so I'm gonna have to do some sleuthing to find an affordable copy of that one. But in the meantime, these 2 and that modern reissue of Pink Moon are really gonna hit the spot.
Okay. From the Richard Morton Jack book. I already owned a copy of this. But when you see an original in the shrink wrap, Odyssey and Oracle. Oh, there's still a little dust on the shrink wrap up here. I've got to just dust that off.
Okay. So, Gosh, that's gorgeous. That is beautiful.
It's immaculate.
Yeah.
I'm not taking the shrink wrap off
No,
this thing.
no.
I don't know what else to say.
You got a steal on this.
Yeah. I won't say what it was priced at, but well, okay, I can say this. I paid less than $50 for this.
Yeah. It's amazing. For a mint copy, basically. Yeah. Ah.
Her pride somehow, that's all she has protecting her.
Massive heavy hitter here.
Oh boy.
Big time want for me. From the Richard Morton Jack book.
Alright.
The most jealous of any record I've ever been that Mellow Yellow owned. The most I've ever paid for a record. I don't even plan on coming close to what I paid for this anytime soon. But I had to have Morgan. Oof. It is deep and hard and angry and furious, and the gatefold isn't really justified at all. It just says Morgan on the inside. And the real kicker is that this bad boy has the poster.
Oh, my angel in the centerfold.
Did get this one online. I was never going to get as lucky as this guy over here and find one in a 25-cent rack. Really, in all honesty, thanks so much for helping me get this one.
Yeah,
this was just a mega want for me. So I really enjoy this record. Mellow Yellow says all the time, well, you could tell where music was going. This is an album, came out in '69.
Yeah.
So maybe you could say, I mean, obviously the cusp, you know, you've had some heavy blue cheer and stuff before that. This thing was a harbinger of 70s rock.
Yes,
but
totally.
Great 70s rock, and just straight out acid fuzz solos on this bad boy.
Yeah.
Love it. I love it.
Old woman, she lives in a shoe.
Well, that about wraps it up for us here. The Psychedelic Experience record run. Vinyl community stuff just makes all the love for music all that much better. So, until next time, avoid scratches and stay in the groove.
Again, it's a little bit of a grower, not a shower.
Well, aren't we all?
Right. Well, speak for yourself. No, it.
Oh, okay.
Gee.
This is Fats. The damn it! I once had a girlfriend, but I had to Chappaquid it. But just wanted to be a heads up to all you. Heads up to all you 1,000. Just a heads up to all you 1,001ers out there that can happen.